Welcome to the FB podcast, where we dissect the hottest transfer deals and assess the potential of football stars. Today we're going to ask the big question, one that will have many Man City fans jumping out of their seats. Will Rayan Cherki really explode at Manchester City, or will he just be a big question mark in Pep Guardiola's quest for glory? Yes, you heard right. In the summer of 2025, the name Rayan Cherki, a contract worth less than 30 million euros, but containing many messages behind it, is being awaited by fans every day. Don't be quick to think that this is just a potential deal like many other young signings that Man City has made. If you look closely at the behind-the-scenes developments, the transfer structure, and the expected role in Pep Guardiola's squad, all signs show that this is a meticulously prepared and intentional move. Man City had pursued Florian Wirtz for many months, but then withdrew because the price was pushed up too high. It was the withdrawal from that deal that paved the way for Cherki, an option that is not inferior in terms of technique, but has a much softer price. More importantly, choosing Cherki is not a firefighting solution after the failure with Wirtz, because Pep Guardiola has long tended to favor technical players who can play between the lines and create breakthroughs in tight spaces. So who is Cherki that makes Man City mark him like that? He is described as a versatile, creative, and especially unorthodox talent. 1. Pep Guardiola really likes this type of player. Despite his improvisation, Cherki is not the type of disorganized artist, but someone who knows when to paint and when to hide the brush. In the 2024-25 season, Cherki scored 12 goals and made 20 assists in 44 matches for Lyon. Not only that, he was also the assist king of the Europa League, with 8 assists becoming a real obsession for Manchester United's defense in the quarterfinals threat. In fact, a mere 27-minute performance in the 2025 Nations League semi-final between France and Spain was enough for Cherki to shake up the whole match, scoring once, assisting once, and almost reviving a French team that seemed to have drowned in the first half, with a passing accuracy rate of up to 94.7% and creating 3 chances, including 2 big ones. 3. Fans liken him to Messi in terms of technique, and Lacazette calls him a strong character version of Mudryk. But above all, Cherki shows that he is a player who follows his own path through. He can shield the ball, escape pressing within 3 meters, handle the ball with both feet, skillfully launch shots from tight angles, and launch passes that penetrate 2 deep defenses with the outside of his left football. Positional flexibility is also a big plus. Cherki can play as a classic number 10, drop deep to play the ball from midfield, drift left as a playmaker, or even play right when he needs to put pressure back into the middle flank. However, life at the Etihad is not a bed of roses. Here's a huge issue that I would like to discuss with you. Can a player like Cherki survive in Pep's structure that requires every touch and precise movement? According to the scheme, Pep Guardiola works with structure, not instinct. Examples like Riyad Mahrez took nearly 2 years to really integrate. Jack Grealish spent his entire first season adjusting to his movement and pressing. Even Phil Foden, despite being imbued with Pep's philosophy since childhood, was imprisoned for 2 years to reach the stability that Guardiola requires. Standard 4. Cherki may not have taken that long, but he will certainly have to face the first collision with the philosophy of control and tactical discipline. His freedom is a strength, but if not managed properly, it can become an Achilles heel. Moreover, the Premier League is the league that requires the highest speed of thinking, physical strength, and intensity in the world. Cherki needs to prove his physicality and pressing ability. And another invisible pressure Cherki will face is replacing a legend. With Kevin De Bruyne gone, Cherki was targeted as a piece of the rebuilding puzzle, but no one expected him to replace De Bruyne immediately. Kevin De Bruyne is not just a playmaker, he sets the tempo, initiates the pressing sequence, and unlocks the game with passes that no one else can think of. 5. Cherki will be in his shadow from the very first matches too. Not to mention, internal competition at Man City is extremely fierce. Foden is almost a new symbol of Man City. Bernardo Silva is still the name that Pep trusts in big matches, and factors such as Oscar Bob are all vying for a position. Cherki will have to fight every day on the training ground. But guys, don't be too pessimistic. I see huge opportunities for Cherki at Man City. The technical ecosystem here is the first support that can help Cherki integrate quickly. 5. He won't need to bring his own light to stand out, but will be allowed to blend into the collective light where Haaland, Foden, or Rodri are all links that understand each other, handle the ball neatly, and move according to the tactical map rather than instinct. 5. I'm especially excited about the prospect of Cherki and Foden on the opposite flank, which could completely create a sharp two-pronged game where Foden brings directness and intensity while Cherki compensates with surprise and trickery. The second factor is the man on the bench, Pep Guardiola. He is famous for developing creative and out-of-the-box players. Pep has not only fixed technical errors, but also re-established the tactical thinking of names that were once considered difficult to bend, such as Joao Cancelo or Bernardo Silva, even Foden. Cherki does not need to be remade from scratch, but he will clearly have to relearn how to play in a system that operates like a machine, and his learning spirit is a huge advantage. In addition, if the deal is completed soon, the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup in June and July could be the door Cherki needs, where he can be used as part of Guardiola's personnel and tactical testing phase. So what will happen? The best case scenario is that Cherki fits in within the first 6 months, becoming an effective tactical option whenever Pep needs to create a breakthrough. Then in the second or third season, when the pillars start to rotate more closely, he can explode in the way Mahrez did too. The worst case scenario is that Cherki cannot adapt to the intensity of the game, is rotated too much and loses his rhythm, which has happened to many young talents when they come to Man City too. But whatever the outcome, City have spent less than 30 million dollars on a player who leads the Europa League assists charts and has just made his France debut with a performance that shook up the Nations League semi-finals too. Rayan Cherki is not a simple addition, he is a question mark, and that is what makes this deal so intriguing. In an era where football is increasingly controlled by data and diagrams, players like Cherki are like a systemic error, but they can also be the key to unlocking the code too. If Guardiola can control that improvisation, City will not only have an additional tactical option, they could give birth to a new type of player, a pressing number 10, an artist who paints inside a machine. Cherki's talent is real, the field at the Etihad is fertile. The only question is whether he has the time and patience to become more than his potential. This is the question I want you to find the answer to in the next FB podcast episodes. Leave a comment below, share your thoughts and predictions about Rayan Cherki's future at Manchester City. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the most in-depth analysis of top football. Goodbye and see you again.